Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In SQL Join series, today we are going to discuss about the self join, and this is the last session from the join series. So from the past few sessions we discussed about what is join, why we use the join, then we discuss about the types of join like inner join, left join, right join, as well as we discuss the anti join, which is the left anti join and the right anti join. And in the last session we discussed about the full outer join. So let's discuss about the self join and why we use the self join. Everything with the syntax and the query we are going to discuss in this session. So let's start with the today's video. So for that I'm creating the new query here, and today we are going to discuss about the self join. So let's first understand what is the self join. So in the last few sessions we discussed about a join. We are used to connecting two or more tables. But in the self join, we are connecting the table itself. So we are not using the two table. The one table we are connecting with that the table itself. So a self join is a join where a table is a join with itself. And why this is useful? So basically from the last few sessions we discussed when we combine the two table, we are having the two different table name as the employee and the department, and we want to combine the employee name and the department name, so we want that as a output. So we have combined these two table, and using the different combination, using the different join, we discuss about what exactly the output we will get. But in the self join, we are not combining the two table. We are combining the table, or we are joining the table with that table itself. And we have discussed here why we use the other join cases, right? Whatever the join type we have discussed so far. So we have discussed the use cases as well. So why we use the self join? So basically self join is useful when you want to compare the rows within the same table. So we will take the one example. So for that first I need to update the employee table. So let's first understand what exactly the data available right now in the employee table. So for that I'm just writing basic simple select query, select star from dbo.Employees. So this table employees and the department I have created in the first session of the join. So I will provide that link also here in the description. So if you want you can check how we have created this two table, and I'm going to see the data right now from the employee table. So let's just select that one and execute this query. Right now you can see in the employee table we have three column: employee name and the department ID, right? And we have the another table where we have the information about the department. So there we have the department ID and the department name. And the last few session we combine these two table, we join these two table to find out the employee name and the department name combinations. So there are different join we already discussed. So in the self join I'm not going to compare that with the department table or join that with the department table. We are going to use the same this table only. As we discussed, self join is used where a table is a join within itself. So we are going to use one table only, which is the employee table. Just for this session I'm making some changes in this employee table. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add one more column in this table, name as the manager. So basically what I wanted to show is the use case. So basically I want to see employees and their reporting manager. So we will add the manager ID here, and we will see who is the manager of that particular employee. So for that we need to add the manager ID first. So for that, I need to make some changes in this table. So I have already written the queries for that. So we are going to use this alter query. So basically my table is now already created, right? Employee table we have already created. So in that case, I'm using the alter query to update the manager ID. So for that, I'm using this query. to add the manager ID. So I'm just going to copy paste this query. All these queries I will provide in the description as well as in the comment section. Paste it here and just execute this query. So you can see the message commands completed successfully. So this is created a new column name as the manager ID to the existing employee table. So this is our existing employee table. Let's execute this. Here you can see the manager ID column is created. But right now all the values are the null. Okay. So we want to insert the value. So for the inserting value, we use the insert into command. So I have written the query for that one also. So we are going to insert the values here. We are going to update the values in the manager ID. So for that, I'm using the update statement. So once the column is added, you can insert the data using the update statement. So I have written query for that one also. You can just copy paste it from here for your practice purpose. And this is the update query where we are updating the manager ID and we are keeping the condition here as the employee ID. So for every employee ID, we are updating the manager ID here. So just copy and paste this query and execute this one. You can see 4 rows are affected. And if I execute this query again, you can see now it is showing the data. So this is the data we are expecting to be available in the manager ID. Okay, so basically if you are not created any new table, you can directly create using the create table. How to do that we have already discussed in the first session of the join, as well as we have the separate session. We have created the table there, we have created the database, as well as we have seen the insert into command to add the data into the table. So all these things we have already discussed. Here I just wanted to update one table, one column in the table. That's why I'm not going to explain again in detail here. But from here you can understand we just added the one column name as the manager ID here, and we have added the data. Now the use case is here I want to show employee and who they report to, that means their manager. So use case here is in the output I want show employees and who they report to. So this is the output we are expecting, right? So we can write the query for this one. So how to write query? Let's discuss about this one. So as we discussed, we are going to use one table only. So from the last few sessions of the join, you can see we have used the two table name as the employee and the department. And this is the query and the syntax we have already discussed. So kind of same syntax we are going to use here as well. So first I'm going to write is a basic simple select query. So write select star from employees. So this is the table name. So once you have written the select query, here select star from employees, I will mention here E. So I'm giving the alias name. So every time, everywhere you don't need to mention employees and employees again, you can mention just E there. So we are going to use the left join here and we are connecting with the same table. So we are using the self join. So that's why I'm mentioning the same table name, which is the employees, but here the alias name I will give the different. So for the manager I will give the alias name here as the M. So basically we want to compare the same table with itself only to find out the manager of each employee. So right now just we have given the manager ID, right, which is the employee ID of the manager. So we want to compare who is the manager of each and every employee. So basically I just written the left join and I have given the alias for the other table, which is the M. Now what I want here the column. So column name here, if you see here, we want just employee and the respective manager. So for that employee name, from where you can get from this employee table. So here you can write this E alias name, you can use and directly write the query E dot name. Okay, so this is the name, employee name we want, and I want to give the name to this column. So I want the column name as the employee name. The other column I want in the output is the manager name. So for the manager name, I'm using this m alias, which is related for the manager. So m dot, again we want is the name, manager name as manager name. So basically we are trying to find out the employee name as well as the manager name. And what is the column we are going to connect is the manager ID and the employee ID. So basically we can mention the on, and here we are going to compare e dot manager ID is equal to m dot employee ID. So we are going to compare this with the m dot employee ID. So let's execute this query. Now you can see the output here. So before we going to discuss about the output, let's first understand the query we have written. I will explain you the query again. So we are discussing about the self join. So self join means we are connecting with the same table, and this self join we use to compare the data between the same table. So regarding the query, first employee is the main table alias for the employees, and employee M is the second reference to the same table, and it is used to look up the manager's name. So this is the same table, but we have given the alias name as the different. So we are referring the same employee table, but alias name E is the main table alias for the employee, and the alias name M is the second reference to the same table which we are using to find out the manager's name. Okay, then we join e dot manager id here, which is the employer's name, with m dot employee id, which is the manager's own id, right? So let me compare this with dbo.Employees, so you will get idea about this one. So if you see the original table, here manager ID is the basically employee ID only. So employee ID here mentioned as the 1. So employee ID 1 means what? Manager for Bob is the Alice. So here you can see for the Alice there is a no manager ID. So manager name is also coming as the null. For Bob, manager ID is 1. That's why we can see here the employee ID 1 is assigned to Alice. That's why for the Bob, the manager name is coming as the Alice. Then for Charlie, the manager ID is again 1. That means Alice is the manager for the Charlie. For the David, the manager ID is 2. Now, if you can see in the employee ID, the 2 manager ID is assigned to Bob. That's why the Bob name is coming in front of the David as the manager name. So basically, we join e dot manager ID, which is basically the employee's manager, with the m dot employee ID, which is the manager's own ID. So basically, this is the employee ID and this is the manager ID, and we are using a left join here. It ensures that the employee with no manager, like the CEO or anyone, are still included with the null for the manager. So if you can see, all the employees name are coming here, and here for the Alice the manager name is missing, but still it is coming as we are using the left join. So let's revise again. A self join, it is a regular join where a table we are joining to itself. So you treat the same table as a two separate entities by giving a different alias name as we discuss here. This is useful when you want to compare a rows with the same table. So we have compared this two column, manager ID and name, and we have compared rows within the same table. And why we use the self join? So here in this case we use this self join to find out the employee manager relationship. So basically we find out who reports to whom. Then the another case, if you want a parent child relationship, in that case also you can use the self join. So that's it all about the self join. So if you have any other question related to the self join or join, you can put down that in the comment section. I will try to respond them as soon as possible. So I'm planning to upload more SQL related session as well as the testing related content in the future. So make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel and press that notification bell icon so you will get notified every time I post a new video. So thank you for watching this video till the end and have a nice day.